Well, after the past few episodes, I have been saying that I've been wanting the gore from the early half of the season to return, and following that ending of episode 9, it definitely gave us that in full force. With bones cracking and fingernails falling off, the blood, guts and fluid was filling up that bathroom, and I definitely wasn't ready for it. With a brand new character called Diana being introduced to us, betrayal being at the center of these 2 episodes, whether it be family or employer, and a massive question being left during the ending of episode 9, which was, why did Cooper turn into a child? Let's look at the reasons why that could have happened and do our best to answer it. Here is the Beauty episodes 8 and 9 ending explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. Why did Cooper turn into a child? During the closing moments of episode 9, we saw that after Diana was introduced to us and she revealed that she was planning on killing Byron so that the Beauty could be prevented from being rolled out to market. As part of the plan, Cooper needed to make himself unrecognizable so he could bypass all of the facial recognition systems in the HQ and then get close enough to kill him. He was originally offered the injection version, but he chose to take this opportunity so he could finally be intimate with this new version of Jordan that he wasn't able to be intimate with because she had the virus running through her system. After they were intimate, we saw that the transformation process went on for a lot longer than what we've seen for anybody else. He looked like he was in excruciating pain, like he died, and then when he emerged from the sack, he looked like he'd turned into a teenager, rather than a perfect adult male. This then posed the question as to why it did that. Well, I feel like there could be a few different reasons. The first theory goes back to something that Diana said when she was speaking about the Beauty to the 4 of them. When referring to the version that's transmitted through being intimate with somebody, she said how its place out in the wild was incredibly unstable compared to the injection. So one reason as to why Cooper could have had an experience like that is because of the instability that's present with that specific strand. If he had have accepted the injection, then maybe he might not have emerged as a child, but instead, a more perfect version of himself. It just felt like too important of a detail that Diana said for it to just be glossed over and have no consequences. Another important detail that occurred in the build-up to Cooper and Jordan being intimate was the fact that she was almost sick in the bathroom. Now, we know that Cooper and Jordan have been intimate on several occasions before, and we also know that Jordan's been intimate with other people. So, what if she's actually with child? And if she is with child, could that have potentially altered the virus that was inside of her, and instead of just providing the fountain of youth, that one that Cooper got could have actually given him youth? We've not seen anybody that's pregnant take the Beauty, so we don't know what happens if it does mix with the system. Another theory as to why he could have emerged like that is because in the early parts of the season, we heard Cooper say on several occasions that he didn't actually have any insecurities whatsoever. We heard how when he was out on a date, somebody said something about him and he just didn't care. He's an anomaly in society because more often than not, people want to change many things about themselves if they get the opportunity to do so. So I wonder if the virus quite literally just couldn't take to Cooper because he didn't actually want it inside of his system or feel he needed to change, so he ended up feeling the side effects of it. Personally, I feel like it's one of the first 2 theories that I mentioned, and I'm guessing we most likely won't find out until Byron actually sees Cooper, or if the actual creator of the Beauty lays eyes on him. Either way, it seems like the plan that the group and Diana had is most definitely going to need to pivot. Also, considering there was only 48 hours for them to get this done and the importance of that being stressed, why would you let them go out for dinner and lose a whole evening? With both Jordan and Cooper being in love as well, with Cooper now looking like that, it's gonna be interesting to see how they deal with that, because now it's just super messed up. What is Diana's project? During episode 8 and episode 9, we saw that Diana's project was cut by Byron, and this was the first time that we'd heard about it throughout the entirety of the show. We found out that Byron was apparently fixated on Diana's work before the Beauty came along, and his direction on preserving life due to robotics was his preferred pathway initially. This was going to be done by having these deacons that were created that were out in society, placed in homes and learning to mirror behaviors. And then, once the technology was developed enough, the subconscious of the humans that it had been mirroring would be uploaded into it. And it would then mean that the fleshy, bloody bags of bones that we all currently walk around in and live in wouldn't be needed anymore. So immortality would be found that way. However, with the beauty being something that was further ahead in terms of progress, and with Byron wanting to make as much money as possible, as quickly as possible, all whilst feeling like God, he canned the project and left it with only 10% of its budget. This was what led Diana to want to operate her master plan of basically taking out Byron and preventing the beauty from going to market in around 48 days on Beauty Day. There's an element of revenge that's ingrained within her because he sold her down the river and then abandoned her, but at the same time, if the beauty were to go to market, it would basically make her product obsolete and there'd be no need for it. This is because people would have perfection and near immortality in their own skin, something that's far more comfortable and less alien. So there are two clear motives as to why Diana wants to take out Byron. It's now starting to also seem like Byron's wife has fully turned against him. She was actually the reason as to why Cooper and co were released from the holding pen, so I feel like she's going to have a large part to do with Byron's demise. My review of the episode. I thought these two episodes of the show were just okay. Personally, I don't know why we didn't just get one episode that was an hour long, especially seeing as though they followed on from each other. It's not that big of a deal, it just feels a bit odd from a structural perspective. I've been saying for weeks that I wanted the gore from the first half of the season, and boy did we get it. When Cooper was transforming, I think that could arguably be the most disgusting moments that we've seen in the show. The cracking sounds along with the visuals of the bones breaking was just so gruesome. Another moment that really stood out to me in these episodes, with it being relatively haunting, was when the new version of Maya confronted Cooper, and he just kept on repeating over and over again that he needed to do as he was told. It was a motif that shouldn't have been that frightening, but the almost hypnotic tone that it had and the blank stare that he exhibited was just really eerie. I found it a bit odd that we saw Byron being prepared to kill Antonio in this episode. He's been a loyal servant of his for absolutely ages, and that sudden change in heart just felt a bit abrupt to me. I also found it a little strange that Diana just got them out and then Antonio and Jeremy were just roaming freely after, like they didn't have a hit on their head, so I found that a little strange too. Byron's total two-dimensional personality and the lack of regard that he has for his family is something that's performed so well by Ashton Kutcher. When we were introduced to Tig and Gunther and we saw just how much he hated them, then it contrasted with the fact that he was fine with them once they were seen as beautiful. It really just summed up the person that he was at his core. The scene where we saw all of the victims from episode 3 being slain was absolutely horrific. These were all people that didn't want the beauty, and they just so happened to be in the vicinity of the room when one of them exploded, and here they all now were, being annihilated just because Byron didn't want them out in the world infecting others and diluting his products. We've seen Byron playing God for reasons that he believes is bringing people eternal life, but in taking it away like that, it showed a different side to the coin. In my opinion, I thought Evan Peters stole this episode. Whether it be the panicked nature that he had, the composed form, the protective mannerisms when it came to Jordan, and even the scenes when he was transforming. Evan Peters is just always at the heart of a good Ryan Murphy project, and that's what we're seeing with this one here. If I'm being totally honest, I do feel like the show has taken a bit of a turn. I just don't think it's as good as what the first half of the season was, and I do also think the introduction of Diana, along with many other characters throughout the season that get a small focus and then drift off, is just another frustrating element of it. We've only got 1 week left until the finale, and next week we get 2 episodes again, so I am intrigued to see how it's going to conclude. With us being left on such a large cliffhanger at the end of episode 9, I do wonder how it's going to wrap up and if we're going to need a season 2 to get some more clarity. I have a feeling we just might. So, there you have it, The Beauty episodes 8 and 9 ending explained. If you want to see more videos on The Beauty, then check the playlist below, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future videos. What did you think of this episode? Share your thoughts in the comments. As always, thanks for tuning into the video and I'll see you in the next one.